Hello there. So today's topic of discussion is method of meat preservation. As you can see here, there are many different methods of the meat preservation. I will be referring for the veterinary, public health and epidemiology, the Sherikar book. According to it, the first method of meat preservation is drying. So what do you actually mean by drying? Drying is nothing but removal of the moisture. What happens actually when you remove the moisture? It will reduce the water activity. AW is a symbol that will determine or depict the water activity. Now the microorganism require the adequate moisture for the subsistence. By drying, what you are doing, you are decreasing the moisture activity of that meat and decreasing the microbial activity in that meat and making it to stay for a longer period of time. Now in the drying itself, there are two types of food. The first one, it is the dried food moisture, and the second one, it is intermediate moisture food. What is dried food moisture? Dried food moisture, you have to know the dried food moisture content, that is less than 15%, and the water activity of it is 0.5 to 0.6. And intermediate moisture food having a moisture of 15 to 50%, and the water activity will range from 0.6 to 0.85. So this is the difference between a completely dried food and the intermediate moisture food, which is also known as IMF. When I say it as intermediate moisture food, it will be clear from the name itself that it is intermediate between the dried and the fresh food. I hope it is clear. Then talking about each and every dried food or the dried meat. Now the meat are either raw or cooked before drying. Okay, either they will be slaughtered and the meat will be raw itself, or they will be cooked. Another layer of the protection, that is cooking before drying, can also be done. The final moisture content after drying of that meat will be 4%. There are two bits point or the very important multiple choice question that can be formed from here is beef jerky. Beef jerky is a type of the meat product that will be formed by drying of meat. Beef jerky, it is most famous or popular in the South America, here where the meat is cut into the small pieces and it is dried in the open air. Whereas there is another such product that is known as biltong in the South Africa, which states that the meat strips are first salted and then kept for months at the higher temperature. Beef jerky is kept in the open air, whereas the biltong will be salted and kept at the higher temperature. But even after the drying, there will be some disadvantages of this dry food. That is, a few organisms will not be died or killed off even after the drying. Such microbial contamination will be Salmonella, E. coli, and there will be some mold growth. To inhibit this mold growth, along with the drying, we can also use some antifungal agent, for example, sorbates. And even after drying, the microbial spore can survive this processing. So this can be also a disadvantage. The first is the microbial contamination, and the second one is the bacterial spores. After telling you about the what is dry meat and the types of dry meat and the disadvantages of dry meat, now I would like to tell what are the new drying methods. I will not go deep into it. I will just name them, that is spray drying, drum drying, evaporation drying, and the freeze drying. So this is the first concept or the first method by which we can preserve the meat. Thank you.